Welcome to this recorded session on the Study Abroad application process, presented by the Study Abroad team. During this session, we will give you a quick overview of why you should study abroad, where to start, and what you need to do to complete the online application. We will also give you some tips on how to strengthen your application and talk about some myths surrounding the acceptance process. Finally, we will inform you of the timeline and tell you who to contact if you have any questions. Please note that the process described in this presentation applies to semester and academic year programs. Summer programs do not require approvals nor references of any kind. Before you begin your study abroad journey, you must first ask yourself the question of why you want to study abroad. Your answer to this question will largely determine how you will select your programs and where you will end up going. At Notre Dame, we see study abroad as very much an essential part of your Notre Dame education. It enhances your educational experience by allowing you to attend another top-notch university, to develop intercultural competence, and to understand and learn about another culture. It helps you discover yourself and your place in the world, and along the way, it prepares you to be a global leader in the future. Study abroad will be a transformative experience unlike any other, and that's why you should put some thoughts into it. Setting goals for yourself is the first step to decide where you want to study abroad and will drive your program selections. Academics is undoubtedly the most important consideration when deciding on a program. If your goal is to fulfill as many university requirements as you can, then London would be your destination. If you're interested in research abroad, Galway, Pabla, Geneva, Rome, Hong Kong, and a few other programs all offer this opportunity. If you're interested in internships while abroad, check out Sao Paulo, Shanghai, Berlin, Heidelberg, London, and Rome. If you want opportunities for service and deep engagement in a local community, explore programs in Jerusalem, Dublin, Pabla, Rome, Santiago, Stellenbosch, Toledo, and Greece. And for every foreign language that Notre Dame offers, there is a study abroad program to support it. If you want to stay within your comfort zone, we have global gateways and centers to support you on the ground in 11 locations around the world. And if you really want to challenge yourself and experience life totally different from yours, perhaps look into programs in China, South Korea, India, Japan, South Africa, Israel, Russia, Rwanda, Jordan, Morocco, Mexico, or Chile. We ask you to be intentional, be bold, and be creative as you set your goals and select your destination. After all, this is an opportunity of a lifetime. Once you have thought through your goals, it's time to have a conversation with your advisors and advising deans to see where study abroad fits in your 4-year academic plan, so you know what courses you will take while abroad. The more flexible you are academically, the more options you will have in terms of where you can go. Then you should see a study abroad advisor to discuss all your options, browse the website, talk to returnees to get as much information as possible. Finally, you should also have a conversation with your parents or guardian so that they're comfortable with your choice. Keep them informed of your decisions. Before you start an application, you should check the eligibility requirement for the specific program you're applying to. You will not be accepted into the program if you don't meet the basic eligibility. Please note that the language requirement needs to be met the semester before you go abroad, not necessarily at the time of the application. If you don't meet the language requirement at the time of the application, you will get a provisional acceptance. However, the same cannot be said about the GPA requirement. You need to meet the GPA requirement during the semester that you're submitting your application. By the time you start your application, you should already know where you want to go, which semester works for you, and that you meet the basic eligibility of the program. The online application is very easy and straightforward. When you start an application, you will need to first select a program, and then it will ask you to select a term. Your study abroad application requires the approvals of your advisor and your advising dean. All programs require rector reference, so you want to notify them and have a conversation with them. A few of our programs require academic or language references, in which case you want to contact faculty. We encourage you to approach faculty who know you well for your references. Finally, you will need to complete a questionnaire. This is the entirety of the application questionnaire with 6 questions.
For question number 4, we are asking you if you would like to be considered for the alternate semester. Please answer yes only if you're willing to accept a different semester. Your personal statement is the most important part of the questionnaire, and this is where we need you to make the case for the location you've selected. We want to know that you have a compelling reason for selecting this location, that it is a good academic fit, that you have done your research and you know what you hope to accomplish there. For question number 6, you should address any issues that may hinder your acceptance, or if you need special accommodations for study abroad, you should describe it here so we know the program you selected will work for you. You are allowed to apply to 2 programs. You can't rank them at the time of the application. When the application closes on November 1st, we will send you a survey and ask you to rank them then. As we will discuss later in this presentation, if you are applying to 2 programs, you should see them as either or, and you're willing to go to either one and not see the second one as a backup. Fall term tends to have fewer applicants, so if you want to get into a selective program, you have a better chance of getting in if you apply to go in the fall term. The GPA eligibility requirement is enforced until the semester before you depart, and if you fall below the required GPA requirement, you may be withdrawn from study abroad. Students on academic probation are not eligible to study abroad, nor are students suspended for other reasons. There are a few misconceptions related to study abroad, and we want to address a few of them here. The first one is the belief that GPA will determine whether you can get into a program or not, and this is not true. GPA is simply an eligibility requirement. For every program, there is a minimum GPA requirement, usually set by the host institution. You should always check this requirement before you apply. If you have met this requirement, you have an equal chance of getting into the program as someone who has a much higher GPA. When we select students for programs where there is limited capacity, all eligible students are being considered under the same rubric. We read your application essay very carefully. We want to see your compelling reason for selecting the program. We want to see the academic fit. We want to see that you have done your research and really know why this is the right program for you. The second misconception is that if you apply to 2 programs, you have a less chance of getting into your first choice compared to someone who applies to only 1 program. This is also not true. When we place students into different programs, we always go with first choice first. As a matter of fact, most of our waitlisted students are the ones who have applied for only 1 program. When students apply to 2 programs, it does give us the flexibility to place more students into different programs. When you apply to a second program, we do encourage you to think of it not as a backup plan, but as an equally desirable destination, so you won't feel disappointed if you get your second choice. Otherwise, you should just apply to 1 program. Another myth about study abroad is that if you have had a community standard violation, you will not be accepted to study abroad. The answer to this question is not always a straightforward yes or no. It depends and varies case by case. Study abroad requires students to be responsible citizens in order to ensure a safe and successful semester abroad. When a student has community standard infractions, it does give us pause and makes us wonder if similar circumstances would occur while abroad. However, we understand that students make mistakes, and one mistake shouldn't deprive students of the opportunity of a lifetime. This is why it is important for students to be honest about their mistakes, to take responsibilities for their actions, and more importantly, to assure us that they have learned from them. The study abroad application for academic year 2021 and 2022 opens on August 31st. The deadline for the online application is November 1st. Study abroad will release decisions in January when spring semester starts, and you will have 1 week to commit to the program or decline the offer after you receive the decisions. When you study abroad through NDI, you are considered a fully enrolled Notre Dame student, and your scholarships and financial aid will continue. You will continue to pay Notre Dame tuition, room and board, plus a $750 study abroad fee. While you study abroad, Notre Dame will pay tuition to the host institution, pay for your housing, and provide you with a living stipend. Notre Dame also provides everyone with a worldwide health insurance. During the entire process, you will have the support from the study abroad team, from your deans and advisors, from NDI's risk management team, and you will receive Notre Dame credits for the courses taken abroad. Study abroad will also incur additional costs that you will be responsible for. Such expenses include round-trip airfare to your program site, visas, passports, and of course, personal expenses while abroad, especially personal travel, which can be costly. So it's important that you plan early. Funding for cultural enrichment is available through NDI. You should check out our website for more information. We encourage you to contact us as you start to explore your study abroad options. You can visit NDI at 105 Main Building for an in-person appointment Monday through Thursday from 1 to 4. Or you can schedule a Zoom meeting with any of our advisors during regular working hours. Here is a list of all the advisors. You can also find us on our website at studyabroad.nd.edu on the advising page. As you explore your study abroad options, we encourage you to be bold, be creative, and be intentional. And we are ready to assist you every step of the way. Thank you for listening.